Yeah, I'm Jake Spencer. I'm an associate pastor here at Grace Chapel. When I first met Ian, man, he was just a great guy. He was kind, he's fun-loving, but very quickly you saw his heart for the Lord. He is a guy whose life had been changed by Jesus Christ, and he didn't hide that in any way. That was front and center with him.
I love Jake Spencer. I've had a relationship with Jake beyond working for him. I got to volunteer for him and hang out with him, and he was one of the first guys that I went and spent time with doing discipleship outside of the walls of Narrowgate. And I remember early on seeing his passion for people and passion for relationship that really drew me in. And I remember thinking later on that was Jesus. So I remember when I was going to Narrowgate, I was just happy to be there. I couldn't believe that they were going to let me out of jail to go live in a barn. And so I was stoked about it.
Being in youth ministry, I believe strongly in relational discipleship, and I have a heart to do that. We're fairly limited. These kids go home to their parents, they're at school. We get doses during the week on a Sunday or a Wednesday. And I think one of the biggest things that stands out to me is Narrowgate, because it's a place where young men are going to come and they're going to live and be there day in and day out. There's a real tangible, hands-on relational discipleship that can happen.
Narrowgate gave me a lot of opportunities. So first it gave me an opportunity to encounter Jesus. Then it also gave me opportunities to serve, to meet guys where they were, to develop Bible studies. It gave me tons of opportunities to become who I am now.
I've always felt like the word shepherd really fits Ian. He cares about people. And so specifically in his role in youth ministry, Ian loves those kids.
It's been something I've been learning over the years since Narrowgate. I remember in my vision and purpose, God speaking that word to me and calling me shepherd. And it's been a journey to kind of learn what that means and how that's going to play out in my life. God's called me to be right where I am and affect change in the sphere of influence that I have. And so I get the fortunate opportunity to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ every single week.
My name's Scott Davis. I'm 35 years old and I'm a Narrowgate graduate. Narrowgate is the tool that God used for me to basically strip away all the distractions of the world that enabled me to focus on the one thing that mattered, and that was my relationship with Jesus.
My favorite thing about Narrowgate is its potential impact on the world. You're taking men who are potentially operating in darkness, and in some cases for darkness, turning a light on in their life, changing their life forever. And each one of those men's impact on the world, as decades go by, I believe will be unprecedented when we get to heaven and can see the truth.
Narrowgate also taught me different ways to continue my walk with Jesus and how to develop that. Basically it gave me the foundation on what to build on. And getting out to the workforce, I was blessed by working for a godly company that helped build on that foundation.
I met Scott Davis at Panera Bread Company. I can remember it like it was yesterday. God spoke to me and said, "You might want to think about hiring this guy." I had no job for him. I had nothing for him to do. I just knew I needed to hire him. And the reason I knew I needed to hire him is his heart fit the culture of who we were as a company.
Day-to-day operations involve managing our entire construction company. The other hat that I do on a daily basis is all the development and entitlement work, all to get to an end product where we have a lot that we can sell to a builder. It's neat to see the process of a raw piece of land become a subdivision and eventually homes being built, and to see that process, that's what keeps me going.
One of the things that I felt like I've always talked to Scott about was people want to teach. Nothing like a teacher than to have a pupil that eagerly desires to learn. So for a 3-year period, Scott's a pupil of mine. He's just a diamond in the rough. He all of a sudden blossomed and our company into something that had the potential to be very significant. He's my number one guy in this organization that we move forward, so he's a valuable individual to our company. He literally started sweeping garages, and now he's the vice president of our company.
My name's Aaron Gray. I went through Narrowgate I think it was March 11th, 2009, and I graduated Halloween, October 31st, that same year, 2009. Been married about a year and a half, no kids yet. We have a dog named Moose. He's pretty cool. I wanted to come to Narrowgate because I felt like in my life I had no hope left, and I was just wanting and reaching for something that would give me something in life that made me feel like I wasn't a loser, that made me feel like I had a purpose here. After about 4 years of diving into drug addiction and pretty much losing everything and throwing away my friendships, losing trust from my family members and stealing and lying, there was a point where I literally squandered everything that I had. To where I didn't have a place to live, I didn't have a vehicle, I didn't have a job, I didn't have any money, I just had the clothes on my back and a few pain pills and some friends that I made while doing drugs. And I realized very quickly that wasn't anything that brought me actual life. It was very sad and very depressing, and after so long, it was time for a change.
Aaron and I scheduled a breakfast at First Watch over here in Franklin, and I felt like we promptly hit it off. He was impressive, and just the conversation that we had, he was very open about, I want to learn this skill set, learn this ability. One of the first things I've noticed about Aaron is his humility in the way he interacts with individuals on our team, clients and customers. That humility shines through.
I wanted to work at Premier because I wanted to be a part of something that meant something to the world. I've been a part of a lot of different sales jobs, and I didn't really feel like I was using my gifts and my talents in that role to benefit a lot other than just making money. I feel like my job makes a difference in people's lives because we are able to bring speakers to connect with a certain audience, to set up a speaker with a Christian college or something that they want to reach their student base and they want somebody to be passionate and come in there and talk about the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's really been cool for me to be able to set that up. I would say the biggest takeaway from Narrowgate is knowing who Jesus is. God's about love, and He's about me. And it's nothing that I've done, it's nothing that I can possibly do, it's nothing that I can earn. He's about me because He loves me. It's just a quiet confidence in saying, I know exactly whose I am, I know exactly who I am, and that's what drives me, nothing else.
If I didn't go to Narrowgate, there probably wouldn't be a Scott Davis.
I don't know. I don't know that I could think about what my life would be without Narrowgate. I don't know if I could put words to what Narrowgate did for me. I don't know. I don't know who I'd be, but I wouldn't be me. I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't be what God called me to be because Narrowgate facilitated an introduction between me and my God. They showed me who Jesus was, and they taught me how to be like Him. I don't want to think about who I would have been. without it.
I just know that where I am now has been completely affected by Narrowgate. And what God has done through that. I met my wife through Narrowgate. When I got married, Bill, you married me. I had 4 Narrowgate graduates that were my groomsmen. They're my best friends. There's no question the impact that it's had on my life and what it's done in the circle of people around me. And I'm forever grateful for it. Like, I can't even explain how grateful I am, because I don't know where I'd be without it if I didn't go through it.